There we go. Welcome back. So tomorrow, tomorrow. Today we're on numbers 10, and it's a little late for me because I did not realize how late I was going to be coming back from work. Yeah, I came back late from work. Sorry about that, guys. So we're on Numbers chapter 10. So let's get this started. Now the Lord said to Moses, "Make two trumpets of hammered silver for calling the community to assemble and for signaling the breaking of camp. When both trumpets are blown, everyone must gather before you at the entrance of the tabernacle. But it, if only one trumpet is blown, then only the leaders, the heads of the clans of Israel, must present themselves to you. When you sound when you sound the signal to move on, the tribes camp on the east side of the tabernacle must break camp and move forward. When you sound When you sound the signal a second time, the tribes camped on the south will follow. You will you must sound short blasts of short short blasts of the signal for moving. Huh. Why was it so hard for me to say? But when the but when you call the people to an assembly, both blow the trumpets with a different signal. Only the priests, Aaron's descendants, are allowed to blow the trumpets. This is a permanent law for you to observe from generation to generation. Also, I found out one thing, observe is kind of more like not to like actually look at it, but actually do it. It's weird. I think in the King James it says something else. I think it says, what did it say? I forgot. Let's just continue and I'll look at it in a bit. When you arrive in your own land and go to war against your enemies who attack you, sound the alarm with your trumpets. Then go to the Lord your God will remember you and rescue you from your enemies. Blow the trumpets in times of gladness too, sounding them at your annual festivals and at the beginning of each month, and blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and peace offerings. The trumpets will remind your God of his covenant with you. I am the Lord your God. I know I've been reading that a lot, but God is basically just telling them, "Hey, I am your Lord." I just wanted to point that out. Like God is making it very, very clear on who is their Lord. In the second year after Israel's departure from Egypt, on the 20th day of the second month. Did I read that right? I think that it. Yeah, 20th day of the second month, the cloud lifted from the tabernacle at the of the covenant. So the Israelites set out from the wilderness of Sinai and traveled on from the place to place until the cloud stopped in the wilderness of Prom. When the people set out for the first time, following the instructions of the Lord had given them through Moses, Judah's troops led the way. They marched behind their banner, and their leader was Nashana, son of Abidabah. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Issachar, led by Nathaniel. I'm gonna say it like that because I don't know, because it does sound like Nathaniel, but I know it's not Nathaniel. Son of Zer, and the troops of the tribe of Zebul led by Elabah, son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonite and the Meronite divisions of the Levites were next in the line of march, carrying the tabernacle with them. Reuben's troops went next, marching behind this banner. Their leader was Isara, son of Shador. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Simon, led by Shelmiel, son of Zira Shaddai, and the troops of the tribe of Gad, led by Isphiraph. Isira, son of Dol. Next came the Kohanite division of the Levites carrying the sacred objects from the tabernacles before they arrived at the next camp. The tabernacles would already be set up in its new location. Nephiram's troops went next, marching behind their banner. Their leader was Yeshirama, son of Abihud. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Meshene, led by Gana Edom Gamaila. Uh, sorry, forgive me for the butchering. Son of Padoras. Man, these names these names are really difficult. Even from when I first began, it was very difficult. Even now, I'm probably gonna butcher so many more names. But at least reading the Bible at least gives me an understanding of the actual people in there and actually what their all the roles basically play out. And the troops of the tribe of Benjamin, led by Adimah, son of Gadami, Dan's troops went last, marching behind their banner and serving as the rear guard for all the tribal camps. Their leader was Esiro, son of Ashad, Shaddai. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Asher, led by Pegel, son of Orkan, Akor, Orkuran, and the troops of the tribe of Nathil, led by Ahira, son of Eran. This was the order in which the Israelites marched, division by division. One day Moses said to his brother-in-law, Hobah, son of Ruah, the Medadite, the Medadite, we are on our way to the place of the Lord's promised us, for he has said, I will give it to you. Excuse me. Come with us and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised wonderful blessings for Israel. But Hodaba replied, No, I will not go. I must return to my own land and family. Please do not leave us, Moses pled. You know the places in the wilderness where we should camp. Come, be our guide. If you don't, if you do, we'll share with you all the blessings that the Lord gives us. They marched for 3 days after leaving the mountain for the Lord. Huh? I got a notification down here. Not on my phone, on my computer. They marched for 3 days leaving the mountain with the Ark of the Lord's Covenant moving ahead of them to show them where to stop and rest. As they moved each day, the cloud of the Lord hovered over them. And whenever the ark set out, Moses would shout, Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. Let them flee before you. And when the ark was settled down, he would say, Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel. Huh. Soon the people began to complain about the hardship, and the Lord heard everything they said. Then the Lord's anger blazed again against them, and he set fire to rage among them, and he destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. Then the people screamed to Moses for help, and when he prayed to the Lord, the fire stopped. After that, the area was known as Tavara, which means the place of burning, because fire from the Lord had burned among them there. Then the foreigner rabble were who were traveling with the Israelites began to carve the good items crave. I can't read right now. Crave the good items of Egypt, and the people of Israel who also began to complain. Oh, for some meat, they exclaimed. We remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt, and we had all the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetites are gone. All we have ever seen is this manna. The manna looked like a small container seeds, and it was pale yellow like gum resin. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna look at the King James since I have it right here. I'm gonna look what it actually is called in the King James Bible. Container. The people would go out and gather it from the ground. They made flour by grinding it with with hand mills, or pounding it with mortars. And when it says mortars, I think it's supposed to be like a rock that grinds them down, not an actual bomb. Then they boiled it on the pot and made it into flat cakes. These cakes tasted like pastir baked with olive oils. The manna came down on the camp and drew with the dew during the night. Moses heard all the families standing in the doorways of their tents whining, and the Lord became extremely angry. Moses was also very was also very I was going to say agitated. Well, that's another word for it. Aggregated, abrogated. Let's just say agitated because it's the same thing. Because I know what it says. It's just that I'm brain farting right now. And Moses said to the Lord, "Why are you treating me, your servant, so harshly? Have mercy on me. What did I do to deserve the burning of these people? Did I did I give birth to them? Did I bring them into the world? Why did you tell me to carry them in my arms like a mother carries her nursing baby? How can I carry them on the land you have sworn to give to their ancestors? Where are we supposed to get meat from all the people all these people? They keep they keep whining to me saying, 'Give us meat.' I can't carry all these people by myself. The loads are far too heavy. If this is how you intended to treat me, just go ahead and kill me. Do me a favor and spare me this misery." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Gather before my 70 men who are recognized as elder and leaders of Israel. Bring them to the tabernacle to stand there with you. I will come down and talk to you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is upon you, and I will put the spirit upon them also. They will bear the burden of the people along with you, so you will not have to carry it alone." And he says to the people, "Purify yourselves, for tomorrow I will have I will have meat to eat. You are you are whining, and the Lord heard the when when you cried, 'Oh, for some meat. We were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will have it to eat.'" Oh man, I kind of see why it took them 30 years now. And it would be for just a day or two, or for 5 or 10 or even 12. You will eat it for a whole month till you gag or sick of it, for you have rejected the Lord who is here among you, and you have whined to him, saying, 'Why did we ever leave Egypt?' But Moses responded to the Lord, 'There are 600,000 foot soldiers here with me, and yet you're saying I'm giving them meat for a whole month? Even the butchers over the flock and the herds." Actually, that's a good question. They have herds there. Why don't they just use them as meat? I'm actually curious why they're not. Must be a different reason. Even if the butchers over all their flocks of herds, they would that satisfy them? Even if they even if we caught all the fish in the sea, would it be enough? Then the Lord said to Moses, "Has my arm lost its power? Now Now you will see whether or not my word comes true." So Moses went out and reported to the Lord's words to the people. He gathered the 70 elders and stationed them around the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to Moses. Then he gave the 70 elders the same spirit that was upon Moses. And when the spirit rested upon them, he proposed, but this never happened again. I think that's a prophesy. Yeah, they prophesied, but this never happened again. Huh. I'm curious why they said that. Two men, El Elda Melda, had stayed behind in the camp. They were listening among the elders, but they had not gone out of the tabernacle. Yet the spirit upon them, yet yet the spirit rested upon them as well. So they prophesied there. I think I'm saying that wrong. I don't know why. They're in their camp. A young man ran and reported to Moses that Edom and Meda are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' assistant since his youth, protested, "Moses, my master, make them stop." But Moses replied, "Are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon them all." And Moses returned to the camp with the elders of Israel. Now the Lord sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and sent them falling all around the camp for miles in every direction, and were quail flying about 3 feet above the air. So the people went out and caught quail all that day, and throughout the night, and all the next day too. No one gathered less than 50 bull, bushel, bushels. They spread the quail all around the camp to dry. Oh, I heard about that story about the quails. Yeah, I heard about the quails and all that. So I heard about the quails that how they were blown out at sea, and I believe it wasn't archaeologists. It was historians, mainly the ones that study animal behavior. Actually heard about a migration of quails around this time, that it supposedly this happened during this time, which was like another proof that the Bible is true, that there was a bunch of a quail migration that happened at this time. And even not archaeologists, but basically animal biologists actually looked at history and actually did see that quails actually did come around that time, which is actually very interesting to read. But while they were groaning themselves on, or gorging themselves on the meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Lord blazed against the people, and he struck them all with severe plague. So the place was called Kavareth Hedavara, which means graves of gluttony, because they were buried, because they were, because they, there they buried the people who crave meat from Egypt, from Karava Harea Vora. The Israelites traveled to Hazeroth, where they stayed for some time. While they were while they were in Herath, Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses because he had married a Cushionite woman. They said, "Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us too?" But the Lord heard them. Now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. So immediately the Lord called to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, and said, "Go out of the tabernacle, all three of you." So the three of them went out of the tabernacle. Then the Lord descended in the pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle. "Aaron, Miriam," he called, and they stepped forward. And the Lord said, "Now listen to what I say. If there are two prophets among There were two prophets among you. I, the Lord, had revealed myself in visions. I would speak to them in dreams. But now with my servant Moses, all of my house, he has he is the one I trust. I speak to him face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the Lord as he is. So why were you not afraid to criticize my servant Moses? Then the Lord was very angry with them and he departed. Ooh. As the cloud moved from above the tabernacle, there stood Miriam, her skin as white as snow from leprosy. From what Aaron saw what had happened to her. He cried out to Moses, "Oh, my master, please do not punish us for this sin we have foolishly committed. Do not let her be do not oh wait, don't let her be like a stillborn baby, already decayed at birth." Oh no. So Moses cried out to the Lord, "Oh God, I beg you, please heal her." But the Lord said to Moses, "If her father it has done nothing more than spit in her face, wouldn't wouldn't she be defiled for 7 more days? So keep her outside of the camp for 7 days, and after that she may be accepted back." So Miriam was kept outside the camp for 7 days, and the people waited till she was brought back, and they traveled again. They left Hazoth and camped in the wilderness of Paramah. Jeez. Man, after every single time, it's always one problem after another. First, the people were like, "Yeah, I want me. Come on, God, just a bit of me." And then that's when you think about it. It's like, well, they have herds of animals. Why weren't they craving that? And it's like, oh, it's the quail. Which again, yeah, animal biologists and actually historians actually looked back then and realized, yeah, there was a migration of quail back then, which just tied into the story. But man, the people were complaining so much. What was the first thing that they were complaining about? Was it just the freaking food? Man. And Moses, there's one of the characteristics of Moses that he's actually like very humble, just a laid back person. And man, so what was the first? You could kind of see that God was mad at them, but again, that's mostly because these people are whining, and you know how it is when people constantly whine. I know how it is because I constantly have a coworker that constantly whines to me. It's like, oh, they do this stuff all the time, and I'm like, okay, but complaining to me is not gonna do anything. So you kind of see why God would be angry at that point. Like the people are telling him, like, God, but I don't know what's this going on. Oh, I know that feeling when people just constantly complain, and it's like, okay, complaining to me is not gonna do anything. And I could kind of see why God would be like angry because he's getting complained, like, oh, I'm sorry, did I not just save your butts, or did I not just save, I don't know, your whole lineage? Didn't I give you food for the entire time? Didn't I give you stuff to do? It's like, oh, okay. I guess all that stuff that I did for you is just child's play, huh? The thing that I do want to actually see is this manna. I wanted to see in the King James Bible if it is called the same way or does it have a different name. So let me check. I'm on 12. So manna. So in the it's supposed to be chapter 11, verse 7. Verse 7. And the manna was in a container seeds. It says seed right here, and the color therefore was Billiam. Okay. Oh, okay. So the manna is the manna, which I don't know what the manna actually is, but it's apparently something really good to eat, and you could turn it into bread, which is very interesting. But you can kind of see what's going on in these chapters. They're already leaving. In chapter 10, they're leaving, and they show like the formation that they're moving in. And then chapter 11, they started complaining. Oh yeah, that's the first thing. They were complaining about the hardship, and God got angry and was raging among them, which I understand. Again, they're complaining about it's so hard. I get that because I constantly have people constantly complaining to me about different things and different stuff. It's like, okay, complaining to me is not going to do any damn thing. It's like complaining to me is just going to make me rage. So I can kind of see why God would be enraged because these people are ungrateful. They're over here complaining that I'm so tired of lifting the freaking Ark of the Covenant. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess you just forgot what the Lord did for you in Egypt, huh? I guess God just rescued you just for fun, huh? Nah, nah, it's not that. Nah. And yeah, God did kill people with severe plague right there, but again, these guys were ungrateful. They were constantly complaining, wanting, without needing any of this. They didn't need the meat. They didn't need the quail meat. They didn't need none of that. And they're over here eating the quail meat like it's nothing. So they didn't really need the meat. But according to them, they needed it. And the hardship, whew. And then criticizing Moses. When then that part in chapter 12 when God literally had to come down to Aaron and Miriam and just say, so I chose Moses for a reason and I talked face to face with him. What's your excuse? Oh man. I I would not want to be on that end, just right there next to Moses, just criticizing him, and then you just see God right there. So, you like to complain about my servant Moses, even though I trust this man with my whole damn life, and I basically did everything. I did everything through him to take you guys out of Egypt, give you a land of your own, bless you with all the food, all the water, everything that you need, even clothing, and even give you these offering things for you to not sin anymore. And here you are. Apparently, he's too nice. Oh man. Like I said, I would not want to be the end of this, but what was the other thing that I forgot? Oh, the trumpets. It's not ironic, but it's just like a bit of a connection with Revelation, which the trumpets are the last thing that the people are going to hear in the end times when Jesus comes back in those final days. So you can kind of see that trumpets as being used as a summoning thing, kind of like how I think one of the trumpets is going to summon all the dead in Christ to rise up first. Or I think I might be thinking of another one. I don't know. We'll get to it. We'll get to Revelation hopefully by next year. But I'll see you all tomorrow. I don't want to keep you here for too long.